Welcome to episode 132 of The Nero Show. In today's episode,
I genuinely think Specilaized have got it wrong with their new Roval Wheels. I try to convince you why.
Tour Magazine put the Colnago Y1 RS through the wind tunnel and all their other tests. We break down the results.
We've got a bit of a cycling YouTube roundup, including why heat training might be overrated for you, and then we chat through some of the national championship results from around the globe. All right, let's get into it.
Right, big week, Jesse Coyle. Big week.
I swear you should scroll through our notes. There is a lot of stuff this week, and a lot of actual. There's some good work gone into this.
You go to one wind tunnel session,
yeah,
and next minute I log onto the notes, and there's friggin' yaw angles and millimeters. It's like you're a friggin' engineer all of a sudden. But let's just quickly mention the elephant in the room behind you. You slag them off. You tell us that they're slower than the cheapest Australian hand-built wheels available. Next minute, there's one lying in behind you.
Scopes for the boys.
Scopes for the boys. Yeah.
Turned up. No, I'm going to give them a crack.
Yeah, cool.
I'm going to test them out. I'm going to put them on the Tavello, and once this rain stops, see what all the fuss is about. Is there a magic X factor I'm missing?
I would argue just taking them out of the box, that was the special X factor.
Very true.
Because they look like sex.
Yes.
There's no two ways about it. But do they handle the Coil pink socks?
Actually, I'm pretty sure the wheels are actually more expensive than my entire bike combined. The rest of the bike I'm on. Yeah. So quite interesting.
Quite an interesting one. All right. So where do you want to start then, Jesse?
Oh, it's got to be the Y1 RS. Okay. We talked about it. It got released. We frothed our nuts off, and Tour Magazine have now tested it, and so we can see where we right, where we miles off.
Yep.
And we kind of Tadej rode it, then he didn't ride it, and then some riders are on it, and we're kind of going, ooh, there's a bit of a smell around this bike. So now we know. Should we dig into some of the results?
Go for it.
Tour Magazine in the wind tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
How many watts is it? 204.
It's fast.
That's quick. Straight off the bat, it's 204. I'm thinking, good. That's impressive. That's up there with any of the other best aero bikes. So straight off the bat, that's a win.
That's the box
Y1.
ticked. Yep.
But then I dig into the article and I'm scrolling through, and then I'm looking at the photos and going, oh, what are those wheels? That's not the MV 4.5s, which the UAE team members use. No, this is what comes on their stock, one of their stock builds, which is generally what Tour Magazine tests with, and it's a set of Vision SC 45s. Meaning 45 deep. So, the Y1 RS has gone 204 watts, Tour Magazine, with a set of 45 mil deep wheels. That's more impressive.
Fast.
And with some Pirelli Sport tyres. You know, with the GP 5000, that tread pattern saves a couple of watts. So, you're starting to look at this and go, well, where could it be? So, for example, the Scott Foil RC Ultimate was 203 watts Tour Magazine, and that had those crazy Syncross Capital SL60s, so one of the fastest wheels you can get in the 60 mil depth, with Schwalbe Pro 1 aero tyres, and was only a watt faster. And so I'm looking at this bike going, you stick a good set of 60 mil wheels on, stick a set of scopes on, stick a set of cadence on, whatever, fast sports. I'm calling
sub. Oh, he's gonna hang on.
I'm calling 200. No, not sub. I'm calling 200 watts.
Okay.
Which would make it the fastest bike in the World Tour, which is what Colnago claimed, and I think this backs it up.
I mean, this is where we hoped it would land. I don't really have anything to add beyond that. I'm relieved almost that you release a spaceship and it is testing quick. Great. What's next?
Well,
make this relevant to me.
Well, this doesn't. It's not all. It's not all sparkles.
Because this is the thing, right? We're looking at this spaceship that's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't anyone riding it, Jesse?
Yeah. So, unfortunately for Colnago, Tour Magazine don't just test how fast it is in a wind tunnel. They take it through the whole rigmarole. So then we start to look at some of the ride characteristic qualities of the frame. So they stick it in the jig, and they put a force through the bottom bracket, and they test the bottom bracket stiffness. And this is where it starts to break down. So bottom bracket stiffness of the Y1 RS is 46 newtons per millimeters.
Good Newton.
Mm-hmm. So a stiffer bottom bracket requires more force to move it. So a bigger number is stiffer. The Scott Foil RC was 63. The SL8 was 61. And the Aeroed CFR was 69. So they're very tightly bundled in this sort of between 60 and 70 newtons per millimeter. The Y1 RS is 46, which was very on. And then Tour Magazine do their regurgitate that number into their sort of star rating, and it wasn't very good. It was, I think, they gave it like a 3 point something. The other ones are all in the ones. So bottom bracket stiffness of the Y1 RS is not very good.
Bizarre. I find this fascinating, given just looking at the bike and what the amount of carbon down there. But yeah, okay, interesting.
I want to move on. I didn't want to go down some bottom bracket stiffness rabbit hole. I always had a thing with the bottom bracket stiffness where you go, is that stiff enough? Like, that's why I still don't know. I mean, is 46 newtons per millimeter, is that a noodle? Or would you ride this and potentially not necessarily notice? That's probably a conversation for another time. It is true that just objectively, all other things not considered, a stiffer bottom bracket feels better.
Okay.
We'll basically have to agree on that.
Okay.
Then we move on to comfort. Stick it in the jig, you put a force through the seat post, and you want to know how much does it move for that force. So in this test, a lower number is better. It means it's more comfort. It's super stiff. You have to friggin' shove a weight on it to get the seat post to move. So it was 186 newtons per millimeter. The Scott Foil RC was 130. The Tarmac SL8 was 156. And the Aeroed was 173. There you go. It's the less stiff out of that mix of bikes and the least comfort, which is not a good combination.
No.
You could live with one or the other because you go, it's really, it's not that comfortable, but it's really stiff. You know, it feels really good. Or it's super comfortable and it's a little noodly, but you can toss that up. But when you're the worst of both, you're sort of struggling. Front end comfort, similar. A lower number is better. It was 102 newtons per millimeter. The foil was 74. The SL8 I couldn't find. The Aeroed was 73. So foil, Aeroed in the 70s. This is 102. So it's kind of interesting that I didn't choose these the other bikes because for any particular reason. They were just the results I could find. And they're all pretty tightly bundled together. This Y1 is like off the reservation for some of these ratings.
That number doesn't surprise me. That was the rumor sort of in the bubble that front end was as an absolute brute.
Okay.
Just having no cross section of the handlebar, that you were just copying everything up through the hands.
Well, it checks out. I mean, the numbers don't lie there. Okay, final one. How much does it weigh? Their bike with SRAM Red, with those Vision 45mm deep wheels, no pedals, 7.4 kilos. Aeroed, 7.1. SL8, 6.6. Foil, 6.9. Now, let's just look at let's take the wheel factor out of it. Those Vision wheels on it weigh 1,590 grams. So if we put in the wheels that the foil had on it, the 1,300 gram wheels, 1,290, that gets it down to 7.11. The Aeroed had 1,400 gram zip 454 NSWs. So if we between the Aeroed and the Y1 RS, if we normalize the wheel sets, they're about the same weight. That's the heaviest of those bikes I was looking at. The foil's lighter and the SL8 is clearly lighter because it's a do-it-all bike. So the weight is okay. It's passing for weight, but it's basically the same weight when you build it as a Canyon Aeroed CFR.
Yeah. Okay. Romandy stage-winning bike with Envy's 4.5s on it. 7.83 kilos. With pedals.
Oh, with pedals. 7 point what?
8.3.
Yeah, so 7.6 no pedals because with the MVs on it. I don't know what size that was. 56, probably. I don't know what they've weighed it with. This is so the Tour Magazine weight is the 56. I trust their weight than some. I don't know what parts were on that. The person
who wrote it.
No, well I don't know what. No, we need to normalize because Tour Magazine bottle cages are normalized. It's standardized. I don't want to be going, oh, it's 400 grams lighter than every other bike because there
Yes.
was some part on it.
Yes.
So to be fair, this isn't good for the bike.
No.
I kind of looked at it. This is where I can't see weight. So
No.
you can't see compliance.
No,
I
that's
can't
true.
see weight.
That's
Because
true.
one of the reasons I was attracted to it was I'm like, if it is that quick, given the silhouette, it's probably got a bit of go to it, a bit of snap, because a bit lighter, a bit sort of thinner shaped. But I mean, it's not. It's just the same weight as an aero.
Yeah.
So
That's bashing
and the
shit out
aero
of
is
you.
more comfortable and stiffer, but it's not as quick. You know, the
not as
aero
quick.
is a bit slower.
No.
So that's my read on the aero. That's the numbers on it. I think given the money it costs, I mean, that is a dog of a bike.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, that pains me. That hurts. That hurts.
I mean, I don't know. Can you convince me that it's not a dog? I mean, okay, it's fast, but it's not like that strong. You know, it's not like 195 where you could kind of live with it. You're like rolling around going, oh, this is kind of a dog, and I'm going 3 watts faster. Is that...
That builds a dog. You're dead right. I think there would be a way to potentially make this a puppy by improving the spec of those wheels.
Also, it took me a while to figure out what...
I don't know where I was
There you
going
go.
with that.
Okay. Yep.
I
got the
think the UAE Team Emirates builds would be less canine than this. But I mean, I don't know whether you want to go. But you're right. I think there's. I don't look. Here's the thing. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that harsh on this because
Why not? It's Colnago. They sponsor the best team in the world with the Tour de France winning rider. They released this bike. It cost $1 gazillion. This is meant to be the peak of bicycle engineering, and they've made it tiny bit faster, but worse in every other way than the competitors.
the reason is because I knew this was a dog. We all knew this was a dog.
I didn't.
A long time
I
ago.
had faith.
I'm pretty sure the rumors are true on this. This was around 18 months ago. No one wanted to ride it. Eventually, there's been some pressure put on that it's on the road, and the good thing about it is that, okay, this is the first generation of this bike, that they are quite a way down the track of a second generation of this bike. I don't want to go full big
No,
brain
but some
on
of
it.
the guys are riding it.
Yeah.
Tim Wellens rode it to win Belgium Nationals.
Yeah. And
I can see why Tadej doesn't ride it.
Well, I mean, he's freaking alternatives.
He doesn't need
full dog. So
Yeah, but he doesn't need the aerodynamics.
no,
And
he
it's
doesn't.
heavier and it's less stiff and less comfortable. Why would he want to ride that?
Yeah. Look at his position. He doesn't need the aerodynamics at all. He sits up in the air, churning out 550 watts up the hill. He's grand.
Yep.
Yeah. Dog.
Yeah.
Like unless you're full Tadej spec, you want the world champs white bike, froth around. Yeah, full absolute. But to buy this, to be a masters rider, and buy this to be your race bike, full on disaster. Disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Public service warning. Don't do that. It's not for your demographic. Yeah, I don't know. I can't save it. No.
No, my point was that you kind of brought up was like when you just haven't been developing a bike and then you just create this bike out of thin air. Where's the iterations? Like this might be good in 2 more cycles, but that's 6 years away. So
that is a big picture
it's
chat.
difficult. Yeah.
Like if Trek and Specialized re-enter the aero game, are they building off the Venge? Like how does that work internally? Are you rehiring the Venge crew from back in the day and they'll get back in the conference room and high five, hey, we're back, boys? Or is it a totally different bunch of that are then starting their research and development from a complete clean slate? I don't know. I suppose we potentially will find out.
Yeah, I mean but it's not really a surprise, is it? When they just create this bike out of thin air and it's they didn't really have enough time on it. Anyway, P.S. How good's a Scott Foyle?
Yeah.
Freaking underrated.
As a brand,
As I was going back through and looking those, I'm like, that Scott Foyle is a freaking good bike. It doesn't get enough love.
and the best thing is if you get a Scott in Australia, no one else will have one. because they're impossible to get. So you can be one and no one else can have one.
Mm-hmm.
It will still be on the same thread of bikes and potential dogs. BMC Team Machine launched 2025. Is it the do-it-all? Is it the climbing bike? I don't 100% know what the Team Machine is in 2025 because they've got the Team Machine R, which is like their aero bike.
What have they done? This is just another week of Coil gets confused with naming protocols. So they had the Time Machine, which is the aero platform. Then they got the new Red Bull collaboration, but they didn't release it as a Time Machine. They released it as a Team Machine. But that still stands, and now they've updated the other Team Machine, which is now a climbing bike.
Yes.
But they're both the Team Machine.
So there's one letter which differentiates an entirely different category of bike.
It's just quite weird.
So a part of that confusion, I see it therefore as a climbing bike. So what did we say about climbing bikes in 2025? You got to do something pretty bloody special to make you relevant to anybody. And this is an incredibly underwhelming launch, Jesse. We'll probably be revisiting this later on in the year with some awards because this is a 6.7 kilo climbing bike with no pedals. So it's TCR-ish. TCR's lighter. In 2025 as a climbing bike. That's with the stupid DT Swiss Arc 1100 wheels that are light, but of course incredibly narrow. A force build, so a full force build is 7.2 kilos. Again, the reason I'm going on about weight is because it's a climbing bike. That's literally its one feature that it has to just knock out of the park. And I think I said that a climbing bike in 2025, 2026 has to be able to run a second tier group set at the UCI weight limit. And other than that, you're irrelevant to me. And so,
they're stocking it with 26 mil tires.
26.
Hell yeah! What a throwback!
It's a perfect example of a brand that is so up their own asshole at the moment that they've lost the plot. They're all riding around the Swiss Alps on this buttery smooth pavement with these tiny narrow tires going, this is fantastic, boys. Fantastic. Let's climb up another Oarscat climb. Because this is what everyone wants from their modern day cycling adventures. No, boys, you really need to get out of the Swiss Alps and get onto some real roads and start feeling what everyone else is feeling. Fair play to poor old Mitch Boyer, who, I'm not going to, poor old, he went and did a review. They took him over there, did the full sort of press thing and made a video after it. And I mean, he made it really entertaining, a 10, 12-minute video, but he was like having to grasp at straws to really talk positively about the bike. So he sort of made it funny, which was, I think, a pretty good play for himself. But yeah, BMC Team Machine, probably the only time it'll get mentioned on the show this year until maybe the end of the year.
Your complaint is it's not light enough?
It's a premium flagship brand bike from a brand that is based in R&D and the cutting edge, and this is the best you can come up with.
What weight would you want it to be?
Force build has to be 6.8.
Or is there a stock build force bike that weighs 6.8?
So the Athos, which was launched years ago, force build 6.74, in there around that weight area.
Okay.
This is a bike launched years after. No, fail. Sorry, do better. Just do better. That's all.
Does it get points for having aero cues? So, because this is now, there's like almost a fourth category, because it's not a do-it-all bike. But what I'm going to guess they would say is, well, an Athos is just round-tubed, pure climbing bike. This is in between. You are now splitting hairs between a do-it-all and a climbing bike. This is like a half do-it-all.
This should be their road machine. This should be their endurance bike. Merge those. Okay. Make that road machine. God, I hate their naming protocol. But anyway, their road machine, which is the endurance bike, which Cam banged on about, make that, incorporate those two research and development projects and make that lighter.
Okay.
Sell it to your endurance crowd.
Fair enough.
One other one before I hand back over to you. Big shout, British Cycling.
Okay.
British Cycling have come out and stated that they will not be implementing the UCI's handlebar limits, regulations.
Wow.
in 2026. I didn't even know you could do this.
Stick it to them.
But
Yeah, wow.
We're at the beginning, Jesse. This is the revolution. You were there. We were there. So, well done, UK Cycling. Congratulations.
Although, what happens if you're a Conti rider in the UK? Do you have your UK? You must have your domestic UK bike. Leave it at home, and then you have your Conti Tour bike.
You have your disgustingly ugly UK crit bike. Everyone's in there around like this. Yep. And I like that. Yeah, and then you got your Euro setup. Mm-hmm. You take abroad.
Very pro.
Very pro. Very good.
No, that's actually sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Stoked to hear that.
Fair play to him. And also fair play for streaming the Nationals on YouTube.
Yeah.
A governing body streaming on YouTube. Really, really good idea. Moving on. What else you got? You got some numbers. We're going to go back down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're going back down to some numbers. So Roval finally released the new Roval Sprint and the CLX 3s. And there's two things. See what I'm doing in my topics now? There's two things. So you know how long I'm going to rabbit on for.
Do you work for Bike Radar?
Yeah. Two things you won't believe. The reverse mullet. Because we're sort of thinking, you had traditional mullets, then they went reverse mullet, and we're going, why? What's the numbers on this? Do we have a reasoning? Do they just pull it out of their ass?
I just would love for someone who has nothing to do with cycling to have just suddenly clicked on and your sentence of, now reverse mullets, let's discuss them. People will be like, what is he talking? Anyway, sorry, go on.
Their reasoning, and it's pretty interesting. They tested their CLX 64 wheel set and the Alpinist, which is a 33 mil deep wheel set. And now let's say that's going from the Alpinist to the 64 saves 10 watts. If you keep the Alpinist in the rear and just put the deeper front wheel on, they're claiming that 90% of the drag is still saved. So you would still save 9 watts instead of 10. So basically almost the entire way there. If you put the 64 on the rear, keep the shallow on the front, it's 60% as good. So it saves about 6 watts. That's their kind of reasoning. So when they were then reassessing their Rovals, they went, well, why we got deeper in the rear? We can basically have them the same height and you're getting almost all the savings from changing wheel sets. So that's the numbers there. 90% of drag saving if you just make the front deeper. If you make the rear deeper, you're only saving 60%. Obviously, if you change both, it's 100. So that's the numbers there, which I haven't heard numbers broken down like that before. Kind of answers it. So they went basically, cool, we won't go as deep on the rear. That keeps the rear lighter. We'll make the front a bit deeper. And if we can keep the crosswind stability good, then we've got a lighter wheel set that's basically as fast as any of the competitors. And I would say based on where we're at with wheels, where there's changing design features is quite marginal, big decisions like that can actually make a massive difference. Mm-hmm. Way more than you would get by slightly adjusting the rim shape. So totally, I'm on board. I think their explanation was good. To the point where when I see a mullet combo now, it gives me the ick. I'm off. I'm totally off it. When I see 50 front, 60 rear, why? I'm lugging around a 60 rear for basically no aero savings.
Because your frame's not optimized for it.
No,
okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Here's my thinking, all right? While you were talking there, I've come up with a theory.
All right, give it to us.
So the reverse mullet, absolutely suited to the do-it-all spec'd bike. So a bike that doesn't have big, deep head tubes, doesn't have much frame up towards the front. Because if you go and put a bigger, deeper wheel in up there, you're going to find yourself potentially suffering a little bit more from your crosswind type areas because you've got even more surface area. So this perfect setup for your SL8. You do it all. Your Tavello, slap it on there. Happy days. Completely agree with you. I think the issue would be if you're running a full aero bike and you go to the reverse mullet. I think you've flipped it the wrong way because you've already got your surface area up there. And that's where potentially you actually stick with your standard mullet.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
Prove me right.
Prove me
I
wrong.
haven't.
No, I'm on a
I
prove me
haven't
wrong.
seen.
Well, it is my turn to go to a wind tunnel, so
Okay.
maybe that is in our future.
Well, I'd be very interested. For now, in terms of what's the optimal depth, that's like a combination. Specialized are only people putting numbers out.
Mhm.
Like I haven't seen CRW haven't come out and gone, this is why we've gone 50 front, 60 rear. You know, Cervelo haven't come out and said that's why we chose that. It kind of just seems like, well, that's what everyone else did, and crosswind stability is better, so we'll run with it. So,
Well, I'd really want Envy to come out with that.
Yeah, Envy.
Envy's the perfect brand to come out with this because they almost started the different spec or different width rim sort of trend, I suppose. So I'd like them to come and tell us why that's still the fastest option. And I know the answer. It's going to be lame. It's going to start with it depends.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think there is an answer. I think Specialized have got it right.
Oh,
they've got it right. I just
in.
think it's a better setup. And to me, it makes total sense. So I don't, there has to be some pretty good data. I reckon brands are going to start going, oh, fuck yeah, we probably a bit. But then any other brand, if they do it, it'll just look like they're copying Specialized.
True.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Set of scopes would look good on an SL8. Just saying. Go on.
Moving on. They chose to stick with a 21 internal by choice. This wasn't they had the molds or there was a factory full of rims. They went back to the drawing board, reassessed, they changed the rear rim shape, and they said, no, a 21 internal with a 34-35 external around a 28mm tire is the road racing setup. Now, they do say that their wheels are optimized for like a 26-30, which checks out because that front wheel's a 35 external. So you could run you could run a 30mm tire on the rim. Probably fine. It's just that the measured width won't be as wide because the internal is a little bit narrow. So you're not going to get that nice ballooning that you get where your actual measured width comes wider. I'm going to read up a quote. Testing focused on 3 tire sizes, 26, 28, 30, with specialized drum tests cobbled and smooth. So they're testing the rolling resistance and CFD modeling, landing on the need to base any new rim shape on a 21 internal width with a 28mm tire. They're sticking with 28mm tires on a 21 internal. They're black and white disagreeing with us. That's just what they're sticking with. And it's not, it's because that's what their number's based on. They do say, Specialized says the new wheels work very well with 26 to 30mm tires. So I'm going to argue with them virtually, with them having no right of reply.
They're streaming live in there, in the HQ.
Okay. I want to make my point. They've got their numbers. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm just going to present the counterpoint based on my writing and then what I think the numbers show.
And your wind tunnel testing.
Yeah. And what I can see stuff. Let's just do a case by case. A 28mm GP5000 versus a 32mm GP5000. Here's the numbers. Weight. 265 grams versus 310 grams. So across a wheel set, you're looking at 90 grams heavier going from a 28 to a 32. That's significant. It's about, you could make that up by going from steel to carbon spoked wheels. It's about the same. So, and brands are still choosing to stick with steel over carbon despite that weight difference. So 90 grams is significant. It's not earth shattering, but it's there. So I used a Silka tire pressure calculator set to smooth road. This isn't rough road. This is hot mix. A 29mm measured tire, which is what a 28mm GP5000 will be on their rims, recommends 80 PSI for me, for my weight, and the 32 measured width recommends 65 PSI. So the question is, what's the rolling resisted difference between those two tires at those pressures? Rolling resistance on the 28mm GP5000 at 80 PSI from bicycle rolling resistance, 9.5 watts. The 32mm tire at the 65 PSI, 10 watts. So at the recommended pressures, for me, the difference between a 28mm GP5000 and a 32mm is half a watt in rolling resistance on a dead smooth road.
Which there is zero.
Right? So this is an absolute best case. Other factors. It's more comfortable and more grippy, and you get more puncture protection. And then the other factor would be the aerodynamics. As we've sort of seen from the wind tunnel testing on a wider rim, internal and external, the aero difference is you're looking at again a couple of watts, not much. So you put all that together, I just flat out disagree. Who would want to ride a 28 when you can be a couple of fingers at best slower on a smooth surface? And as soon as it gets anywhere off hot mix, it's better. The 32 mil kills the 28. So I don't know. I'd love to talk with them and just basically argue with them, because I just don't know what numbers they've got that gets me staying on a 28 mil tire.
I think yes,
unless I'm missing something. I just don't get it. And even with our own riding, like, go and ride a 32 and it's just, I just think it's done. 30, 32, for them to say that 28 is still the optimal road race tire, I just don't get it.
A lot of the time, the decisions on these sort of products are made essentially by the product manager. They will basically make the call at the very beginning of a product development and say, this is why this is our spec. And then they'll take that to the engineer, and the engineers will go build that. So the product manager would have basically come out and said, here's the specs, 21 mil internal, go make. And I honestly believe that some of these decisions are made by that particular individual's likes and dislikes in riding. And they probably like the feeling of, and it is the case that there's a little bit more of a handling advantage, maybe a snappiness feeling to a narrower tire. It does feel a little bit more reacting. Now, you and I both, I don't tend to appreciate that feeling. I think it goes away very quickly, personally. But that would maybe be my only answer for why you're sticking with it beyond,
And on a hooked rim, you can just run a 28.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I just don't get it. And also, just another thing on the numbers, I just went with you there. Bicycle rolling resistance do that on a really old, super narrow steel rim. It would be reasonable to assume that the rolling resistance of the wider tire would improve slightly if they were testing on a wider rim, because the tire shape would form better. It's a 32 mil tire isn't intended to be mounted on a super narrow rim, so there's also that factor too. So that's while I appreciate Specialized going, this is the testing we did, this is the numbers, and this is why we're sticking with it, I still disagree. I think they're wrong. I think they got it wrong. So that's my addition to the new Roval chat.
In summary, you like the way they're trying to justify it, but you don't agree with their outcomes. Yeah. No, that's good.
I mean, they've tried. They've got it wrong, but at least they're trying. At least they're not making it up.
Is there any way we're wrong?
No.
Do we need to fully reassess?
You would. I'm not going back to 28 mil tires. It's done. We're not wrong here. I read this stuff and I go, fuck, have I got it wrong? And I add in then I sat through and went through the numbers. And then I went through the ride feel, because I've tested them all, and the ride experience. And I just sit down and I just go, no, I think we got it right. I just don't see it. And that's why it's almost like, I feel like I'm going insane sometimes.
Well, at the risk of you going insane, should we talk about the DT Swiss wheels, or should we just skip that for the sake of our mental health?
Oh, well,
I mean, I feel like
I'll do it quickly.
Okay.
I got some notes on it, so I'll just read you.
This got DM'd to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DT Swiss have also updated their, what do they call it? The Arc 1100 wheels in the different depths. So they're just top level all round road racing wheels. I'll read you their blurb. With wider tires offering better grip and comfort, we calibrated our rims accordingly while still providing that competitive edge. The third generation features a wider inner width and a unique V shape without compromising aerodynamics. Developed together with our double UTS technology, the Arc wheels can be ridden with the Aero 111 tire for the ultimate aerodynamic setup. On the mission to take the lead and develop our fastest wheels yet, we accomplished the goal of wider, higher, yet lighter rims, V-shaped for victory. They will propel you forward. The lead isn't just given out in cycling. You have to take it.
I can't believe they went V for victory.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
do you want me to
Yeah,
just...
go
Okay,
for it.
first off,
Mhm.
if you just want to make fast wheels and you want to run... They basically design these wheels, and if you go through and look through all their friggin' spread, their title results, which I'm not going to go through, they've designed these wheels around that Aero 111 tire, which measures narrower than a 28mm GP5000. If you want to ride that and you want a fast wheel, yeah, go for gold. It's irrelevant. That's what are we doing here? So, and to be fair, yeah, if you want fast wheels for those tires, these are probably good. An inner width of 22mm ideally suits the 29mm Aero 111 that has become the new standard. No, it's not. It's not the new standard. The new standard's the 30mm GP5000. They're just, so they put so much effort in, but they're just miles off. I actually feel bad for them. Are you just sitting here going, what are you guys doing? You're running on a hamster wheel and everyone's over here.
It's like BMC. They're so far up their own arsehole again. They've forgotten what reality is. Like this sitting around in wind tunnels, hour-long sessions that never end on perfectly smooth Swiss roads has created another disastrous product for us.
Now, other factor of these wheels. There were some comments on the last video that said, why did you give the Rovals a pass when you were so hard on the zips? It's because of the external width. The zip 454s, I think the external width is like 29. These DT Swiss wheels, external width also 29. The Rovals is a 34. Actually, the new ones is a 35 external. So you're not going to, you can still run a nice 28, 30 and it'll still perform pretty well. So yeah, these are a 29 external, which means that's why they're designed for what is barely a 28mm tire. So this is the fastest wheel. If you actually put on a decent tire, this will not be the fastest wheel. And that's where it breaks down. The 65mm version weighs 1,511 grams. The 55mm version weighs 1,471 grams, so it's not light either. That's kind of like slower than any other Chinese wheel. Sorry, heavier than any other Chinese wheel. If you want to use a proper race width tire, these wheels are slow. That's just how it is.
Coming to an OEM spec bike near you. Look out for the new Arc.
The blurb doesn't make sense because this is a niche product. This isn't your do-it-all, the fastest wheel for everyone product. This is a very niche. Like if this was just, this should be like, they should have a proper wheel, proper rim, and then have this as like UK road bike time trial wheel.
Yeah, okay.
I'd be on board.
Yeah.
Or, something like that. Or US crits on hot mix, 4 corners. Okay, I could sort of see it. But when this is your main offering, it doesn't make any sense. So that's the new DT Swiss wheels.
How can we be in a world where one company spends all this time and effort and releases a V-shaped rim in 2025, and you've got all these other companies, Envy, Reserve, Roval, with like shapely hourglass figures and spending millions of dollars on these kind of shapes that they're creating? I just don't understand what world we're living in where both can be the pinnacle of research and development.
Well, this is potentially the pinnacle of research and development for an irrelevant tire.
Yes, okay.
So,
yep. Fair point.
Yeah,
Yep.
Probably a V works well when you got a super narrow tire. I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
All right, good roundup. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. But
Yes.
It's all happening. All happening. All right, let's pause for a quick moment for a word from today's show partner, Pillar Performance, who have a ever-increasing catalogue of products online at the moment. And Jesse, can I just tell you quickly about one of the ones that I've been using?
Please do.
Yes, so a few weeks ago, I discussed that I'd been struggling using protein powders I have for yonks. They tend to give me a bit of gut distress. I started using the Pillar Performance whey protein that is on their website, and I'll be honest, I actually haven't had any of those gut issues that I was previously getting with a whole variety of them. Now, you've had a little bit of a look into that.
So there's 3 things that stood out. Firstly is they have a digestive enzyme mix in there, which they've licensed from another company the product is called Digizyme. There's 5 different enzymes in there. The main ones that are going to help specifically with the protein powder is the lactase. Obviously, it helps digest any leftover lactose that's in there. The protease that helps break down any protein slightly faster. So perhaps that's helping it pass through the gut with less stress. The sweetener choice they've used as well is monk fruit extract and stevia, generally very well regarded to not upset the gut, unlike some of the sugar alcohols that might be in some other products. And just the level of filtration they've done, like even before you've put those in, there's less than a gram of fat and less than 500 grams of lactose and less than 1 gram of sugar total just in the product overall. So it's basically just protein. That's why it's classified as whey protein isolate, really highly filtrated.
Now, there's no beating around the bush. This is a premium product. This is 125 Australian dollars. So this is not for someone who has no issues with their current protein. There are cheaper options out there. But if you are like me and you did suffer from any kind of gut distress, I would suggest giving this a go, because being able to actually have a whey protein after your ride is a big benefit. So to do that, go to pillarperformance.shop. You can use code Nero for your 15% off. And for our North American listeners and viewers, head to thefeed.com/pillar. Use code Nero at checkout. Big thanks again to Pillar Performance, supporting the Nero Show week in, week out. Right, cycling YouTube, Jesse Coyle, just what's going on?
EuroBike's been on. There's been a lot of stuff, so we're going to do a roundup. Just as a bit of a palate cleanser. It's been I've been a bit negative this week. So this blew my mind. Okay. All right, this is the future. I'm gonna play this video, and for those that are just listening, I will narrate what's happening over the top. This was a new product that I saw at EuroBike. So let's press play here. So what we're seeing before we start is we're looking at a rear wheel, and a guy's got an Allen key going into the through axle. So he puts the through axle in, the Allen key, unscrews it, through axle, he unscrews it, pulls it out, then he lifts the wheel out. Hold on. The disc rotor and the cassette are stuck in the bike. And then he just pulls the wheel out like it's an old rim brake quick release. So what this is, it's the fasten through axle system, which is the solution I wanted for all my problems. So what it does is it attaches to the dropouts and holds the disc brake right in the frame. So you don't have any alignment issues, no rubbing.
Brilliant.
Holds the cassette in place on the drive side, and then you just take your wheel out using their proprietary system, and you can swap them. You can use your rear wheel on the front, so because obviously the front rotor stays in, so you can swap them. If you've got different depths, you can swap them in. You can swap wheels with your mates. If they're on SRAM and you're on Shimano, you're all good.
Irrelevant.
Doesn't matter. It's been quite a while since I saw something and I just went, yes, I want it. Now, don't come at me with reasons, mechanical reasons why this isn't going to work. I don't want to hear them. I want more R&D because I want this on my bike in 5 years. You'll have no more disc rub. You'll have, it's mainly just the disc rub. So I can change my wheels without having to bloody align the brake calipers. I saw it and I think it's fantastic. So that's the Fasten. It's an Italian company.
EuroBike content was obviously in everyone's feeds the last couple of weeks. This is it's the end of bike show season, Jesse. This is it. This is wrapping up. They're packing up the bike shows now, going through the full slate of them. Been in Asia, been in Europe now. We've done the American ones. So it's all done. Can I tell you about my cycling YouTube protocol for bike shows?
Yeah.
How it sort of plays out for me? Because it's a season. I like enjoying it.
It really is, yeah.
So I do tend to lean towards a GP Lama to kick us off. Sort of sets a good base for me because he tends to not necessarily spot the big ticket items. Like if some major product's being launched, he might not go there, but he'll give me a good update as to just generally what's around, which I always enjoy. I should say this season we've seen a new addition to my slate. Trace Velo has been sort of slopping around the shows as well. I think it's a big win for bike show content to have him in there. He's really good at it. I actually think he's found his niche personally.
Okay.
And I just don't tend to watch him in his garage building up his AliExpress builds. But I really like the way he presents his stuff, and he's brought a nice little addition to it.
I like he's probably he films them like we want, because he's us.
Mhm.
He's kind of into what's the cheaper parts, what's this. So he's kind of got. Whereas Shane Miller is more. He's bit to industry
Tech.
Yeah. Whereas Trace Velo is like it's just like we're walking around.
Yep.
So kind of it's a good fit.
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as what I saw, Jesse, I did like the rower that converted into a bike trainer thing. The coil comeback is well and truly underway. The only thing that actually I went, oh shit, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why hasn't this existed before? Was this Seek range of kids bikes that Giant are doing? Now you're going to glaze over for a moment, but this like it's crazy how shit kids bikes are, and you go from like just this crap balance bike for a kid into like a small adult bike. There's no good in between bike that's actually fits a child, especially like in that kind of 9 to 14 age group. So Giant have seen this. They're making bikes for them. So there's a Seek range and a Live range running 650 B wheels and all the components. They're not small adult components. They're actually a standalone kids component. So the levers, the shifters are for kids' hands. I'm actually really pissed off because I just spent money on Catherine's mountain bike, and all it is like a really, really small adult's mountain bike, and the saddle's hilarious. It's like plonked so far down, it's like into the actual quick release area. So it's a 1x electronic group set made by Microshift. Wheels are set up tubeless. Yeah, it's a nice road bike.
Interesting.
That fits a kid. Like, you see that picture there with the handlebars?
I'm looking at it. Yeah,
like that. I'll bring up a picture of Catherine's setup, and you will get why this is actually kind of cool.
It's kind of like a lady's bike where the standover height's quite
100%.
low, so it's a bit easier to live with. Yeah, I rate that. Oh, cool.
Not certain on internal rim widths yet. We will internal rim widths coming, and how optimized we are, we will find out. The only other interesting stuff going on, heat.
Yeah,
this is the new catnip. Everyone's into it.
It's the new zone 2.
You gotta it's the new zone 2.
Zone 2's done. You got to be in a paint suit on the trainer.
You got to get your blood
prep.
plasma up.
Yeah.
Jesus, you got to get it up.
Because NorCal did a heat training video. So yeah, GCN have been doing them. NorCal did them. Dylan Johnson did one recently. It's like the new trend. Can I just?
Do you have people when you're talking to athletes? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I want to say a few things on it.
Here we go.
Because I just got to get it off my chest. And I'm not I'm not some contrarian or heat training. Heat training is amazing. I've been banging on about it for yonks.
You have?
It is so many positives. But I hear quite I turned the fans off at the end of my session and did a random all you did was suffer unnecessarily. Like that's not heat training. That's just getting sweaty on a random ride in the week. So, few things. If you're doing your heat training, it needs to be properly structured. So, in most research, you really need. I'm going 4 sessions a week. Ideally, it's 5 to 7 a week. A proper heat acclimation protocol. It's heat exposure, not necessarily on the trainer, but some form of heat exposure on consecutive days for like 2 to 3 weeks. So just turning your fans off twice a week is not doing anything. Secondly, it sucks. You've done it. It's very uncomfortable.
It's messy.
It gets sweat everywhere. You sweat through your kit. You've got towels down, so then you're cleaning towels. Your partner will hate you because suddenly your living room or your bathroom stinks like sweat. It's disgusting.
Destroys your gear, your equipment.
Yep. All of that. And so it looks kind of cool on YouTube when someone's doing a video on it. But for anyone that's actually done proper heat acclimation before, it's not sexy. It's awful. It's the part of the season most people don't want to do if you've actually done it properly. So just kind of be careful what you wish for on that. This is probably a big one. You need to do it at the right time of the season. the heat adaptations come on quite quickly. You can be really well heat acclimated in 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks if you want to do a long-term protocol. Those adaptations stay with you if you're maintaining it. So let's say you do 6 heat sessions a week and you do that for 3 weeks. You might be sort of 85, 90% heat acclimated. You then do your 2 heat exposures a week and that maintains it. You only hold on to those adaptations for as long as you maintain it for. As soon as you stop, after a couple of weeks, those effects have worn off. So going and just doing this because you saw some guy on YouTube do it and it's January and you're in the US, that's just the worst timing. It actually detracts from the rest of your training. You should be doing proper preseason training, save the heat work for when it makes sense. Because if you do a heat block in January and then you're like, oh crap, my hot race isn't until March or April, well, then you're either doing 2 heat sessions a week for the next 3 months to hold on to the acclimation, or you're losing all those gains and then redoing it, the whole protocol again.
Yeah.
And people kind of don't get this because they go, oh, the GCN guy said he gained like 20 watts. I'm like, but it's not 20 watts of fitness. It's like a little drug you took and you've just got this short-term pickup in form because those adaptations don't stay with you long-term. So
you can't maintain the adaptations.
Oh, if you want to do 2 heat sessions a week all year, by all means.
Right.
But it's like a percentage booster. It's like at any point, if you don't do heat work, at any point in time, if you've got a hot race, you're sitting on a 5% fitness gain, right? It's a question of when do you want to use it. You can't expect it's like you're playing Mario Kart and you get a power up and then you go, boop, it's in you, and then the time counts down and then it's gone. It's not, I'm getting a 20 watt bump and then for the next 2 years, my FTP is 20 watts higher. Please, that's not how it works. It's a short-term pickup for the time you're doing the protocol. So you got to keep that in mind. Please just time it properly. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and effort. I think that's probably around heat training. That's the biggest thing people don't understand. They're like, oh, well, I should be doing this because I'll get 10 watts fitter. Please, just got to break that. That's not how it works. The confusing thing is some pros do it early in the season. So if you follow some of the pros on social media, it might be January and you see them doing their heat sessions and you're going, oh, January? Why are they... Oh, Jesse's wrong. I saw Jonas Abrahamson do it in January. I don't know exactly why he's doing it. I suspect this is how I would do it if I was coaching a pro. The reason why I think pros do it that early in the season is because they're prepping for training camps. So if you're pro coming in January and you're going to Tenerife in February and you've got to do proper training, you need to be prepared for that. Generally, the places they go for altitude camps or preseason camps is generally a bit warmer and you're doing a lot of climbing. And so I think they're doing it in preparation for a training camp. It's not because it was really important that they're heat acclimated in January. So I also
not to mention the spate of Tour Down Under. You've got Dubai. You've got like Oman.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. If they're actually doing there's a preseason racing closer to the equator, then that totally makes sense. They would be doing it directly for that racing.
Can I just quickly say the one reason I don't really bother is because it just actually affects your routine training so much, I find. Because if you do heat training properly, and correct me if I'm wrong, I find it affects what actual training I'm doing day to, because it's another stress on your body. And so, your threshold session or whatever it might be becomes, less quality. Like I can't do as much power basically because I'm under more stress. My body is under more stress from the heat prep.
Definitely. Yeah. That's the downside. That's why your training has to be adjusted around the times you do it. So yeah, totally.
Which kind of sucks because you just get into like really good form and you're like bossing it a bit, some of the local stuff. And then you start doing heat training and you become kind of ratchet again. It's like, oh man, I just did all that work. Yeah. Anyway, that's just me.
That's all I had. Just public service announcement. If you're going to do it, plan it properly, please.
While we're going full Jesse Coyle rant, can we quickly just do the Matthew Van Der Poel stuff?
Sure. What was...
Oh, because just remember, because I asked you that.
Yeah.
Because I asked you that one a while ago when he'd won, what did he win? He won Roubaix or a San Remo or what it was. And I was like, why is he so good, Jesse? Why is he so good? And you said, because he's like, power is really high. And everyone in the comments, because we timed it that suddenly this, well, not suddenly, we kind of knew that this interview with his coach came out.
It came out like the day after we did the show.
And everyone in the comments was like, Coyle's wrong.
Because the coach said, Van der Poel's not that strong. We've got other riders in the team that do better numbers. He's just really durable, which basically said the opposite of what I said. Actually, not really. I agreed he was durable, but I said he was a world-class numbers. Their coach came out, well, basically disagreed with me. And then we did a segment again following up. I went, I just disagree with the coach.
Yeah.
I don't have his numbers, but I still disagree. Fast forward, Criterium de Dauphiné.
Yep.
And my point was, I've seen too many examples of him in cyclocross, in Tour de France stages years ago, completely riding everyone off his wheel in situations that don't require durability. Fast forward to the 2025 Criterium de Dauphiné, individual time trial, stage 4, 17 kilometers, 20-minute effort. Mathieu van der Poel, 6th. Remco, Vingegaard, Jorgensen, Pogačar, Florian Leipowitz.
Weapon.
Mathieu van der Poel. It's a 17K time trial.
20-minute
He's fucking
effort.
stomping huge watts that he's ahead of 99% of the rest of the peloton in a time trial. Has Mathieu van der Poel been to the wind tunnel? Done track testing for days like No, he's got some good equipment tweaks, so his position's probably pretty good. He's just a fucking monster.
Yeah.
So don't tell me it's just because he's durable. Just durable riders. Someone like, the person I would probably make that case for is Bahrain rider, good descender. Mohoric doesn't have world-class
durability for days.
Yes. So that I can make that case. Mathieu van der Poel is not that. The guy can pump some watts. And I saw that and I messaged you. I'm like, did you see the Van der Poel result? I was just, I had to mention it.
Dogs.
Yes.
Dogs. Dogs.
We need intro music for this section.
We do. We need intro music. Yes, confirmed. All right, we're going to start us off with the Moneyball build. Jesse Coyle, Factor Ostro VAM version 1, 2024 56 raw carbon frame iridescent logo. Ceramic speed bottom bracket refurbished as new. Black ink integrated bars 38-110, Darimo zero offset seat post for saddle adjustment and modern riding position, plus the bonus 100-gram weight savings.
On stock.
CRW
Can't run stock.
You can't run a stock. CRW 50-60 wheels hooked, 25 internal, 34 external. Not that you needed to know that, Jesse. 30 mil front, 32 rear, GP 5000 TR tyres, set up tubeless, 20 SRAM 23 Force black chainring, so that's the previous iteration. Force 5037, no power meter. But same weight as red, but comes in black. Oh, I see what's going on here. 2023 SRAM red carbon crank arms, 172.5. 2023 SRAM red ETAP axis derailleur.
Can I just pause? He's kind of listed down to the battery what the specs are.
Well, because the reason is, like, if you look at the rationale here behind every group set component, like, for example, we'll come back to this. SRW saddle, Silka 3D printed computer mount, Favero Asioma 2025 pedals, the new ones.
Oh, the pros.
Yep.
Nice.
As pictured, 7.29 kilograms. Ceramic Speedo SPWs, of course. From what I understand, no gaffer rotors. I don't think we're seeing gaffer rotors there. It's a clear
SRAM rotors.
Clear issue there.
So obviously it's the Factor Ostro VAM with 50-60 wheels with pedals, 7.29. So that's 7.1 no pedals. That's good. And in a size 56. So it's lighter than a Y1. I know which way I'm leaning. I thought you might have a bone to pick. Where are you going with this one?
No, I like this. I think this is a really I think this is a fast bike. I've ridden this bike. I'd never put CRWs on it. I only had the black ink wheels on it, which I didn't particularly love. The previous version of the black ink wheels.
You used to have a Factor Ostro.
I'll dig up the photo of it. Yeah.
Wow.
All the changes that he's made here are the changes that I would definitely get around for sure.
OG Nero show viewers will remember when you took a titanium bike up to Bob and Head against your Factor, and you were you couldn't really figure out which one was faster.
Yeah.
Remember those days where you couldn't tell the Thai bike was slower than a carbon? Anyway, those were the days.
We live and learn. We live and learn. I'd happily race this bike.
As would I. It's a certified fast bike.
It's a certified fast bike. Can you guess the FTP of the said rider, Jesse Coyle?
I'm not going to go details on these because I'm just going to shoot it straight down. It's 315 watts.
Pretty close, 330. I don't have a weight for you.
Okay. I need to be plus or minus 5 watts. Okay. I'm 15 watts off. That's too far.
He's saying that it's AI FTP detection.
Oh, so it is 315. Yeah, he's always 15 watts higher on the AI system.
Bike 2. Now, it's a Tarmac SL7 Pro, size 58. I've been given a weight. I don't know what this weight means because it says 8.9 with pedals, saddlebag, and wahoo. I don't know what's in his saddlebag, but just as a general rule, please no weights with saddlebags. But I think we can kind of fill in the gap here. Big Rock one-piece bar, 130/38 UCI legal, 2026 Craft 50/60s, won in a Panda Podium competition. There you go. Cybre bottle cages, Ultegra 12-speed, 52/36 Dura Ace rotors and cassette. No Galfas again. 28 front, 32 rear. TPUs can't do the tubeless faff at the moment. Titanium bling, wax chain is 6'2" and 85 kilos.
Oh, yeah. I love this bike. I love this build. Did you put this in for me? I love this. I love that it's the SL7. I love that it's Ultegra. This could be my bike. I'd totally ride this.
It's got a lot of coil about it, actually. Yeah.
You've got the integrated bars.
Am I right in saying that they're Dura-Ace chainrings?
Potentially, yeah, they've got the black bits on them.
Like
I think they look like the Dura-Ace ones.
Yeah, 52/36.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the rotors. Oh, hard to tell. No, they're Ultegra chain rings. If you zoom in, you can see.
Are they? Okay. Yeah. I really rate this bike. I got to say, I've always got a soft spot for the SL7, and yeah.
It's not slammed either. I mean, yeah, that's a fast bike.
That's a fast bike, absolutely. Once again, we do have an FTP if you want to have a crack.
So he's put stats. Is this 6'2", 85 kilos? This is literally me. This is alternate universe me. He better not be stronger than me. So I'm going to say 350. So he's not stronger than me.
You're wrong. 295, but he does say in brackets he needs to try harder.
Okay.
He's 34. He's a COVID baby. He's still riding. He's riding crits and a couple of road races. But he knows he's got to get fitter.
Yeah.
But he's got the bike for it.
Yeah.
So shout out to himself. Bike 3. First. We haven't had this on the show, I don't think. The Elves Falleth Evo.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, we have. Apologies.
Yep.
Shimano Ultegra Di2 with XKD power meter crank, Super Team Carbon Ultra 50/58 deep wheels with carbon decals. There she is. I mean, I've heard some reports on the ride quality of this.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of knows now that the previous Elves Falleth, and probably the new one because it's got that tiny seat post, it's not winning any compliance awards.
But the Super Team Carbon Ultras.
Yeah, I've looked at those Super Team wheels before. They're not like super wide, but they're not super narrow either. I think from memory they're like a 23 internal carbon spokes. They got a funky pattern actually. So at least they're trying to do something different, not just look like a bog standard. XKD power meter with Ultegra. Is it a fast bike, though? I think because we can kind of get lost down a rabbit hole on this one. It needs to just be black and white. is that a fast bike? Because you're going, okay, for what circumstance? So because you're probably doing what I'm doing. So you're picturing a rider and a race type, which is fine. But then you're going, okay, for that money, what else could I have gotten that would then make this a dog? Or is this actually fast?
The problem is I don't think there's any way you can make that bike. I really don't want to punch down here because
you factor in the price and you go, it is a very, very reasonably priced frame. But then at the end of the day, like there is a cutoff where you just go, I mean, it could be free. It doesn't necessarily make it fast.
Is there a world where the SL7 that we just looked at, you could have got that second hand?
No. Those elves are like
okay,
1,200 USD.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's like
it is
2/3 of a Tavello.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's in its own sort of category when it comes to value. Yeah. All right.
And then so the other thing I'm doing is I'm looking at the build. I'm going, is there something I could have changed to make it faster, which I could then say this is a dog?
No, fast bike.
Yeah,
fast bike.
No,
fast bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a fast bike. It is.
I agree. I'm like sitting here really trying to find a reason to not say it's fast, and I can't come up with one.
No.
So, yep.
No, fair play.
Yep. Well done.
Any guesses?
I've been terrible this week.
No, you did well with the previous one.
265.
You're overestimating today.
Overestimating?
Yeah, so we're 309. 309. However, measured in an outdoor 20-minute test, no ramp test shenanigans for himself.
Okay.
38, South African, Cat 2 rider.
Looks like the frame doesn't look that big, does it? It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
That's like,
no, I think
that's
so.
That's a good B grade. Yeah. So that's a strong B grade. It turns up to a crit and he's whipping around on that.
South Africans are all strong.
Yeah.
It's just,
and they'll stick you in the gutter too.
They'll stick you straight in the
No worries
gutter.
about that.
100%.
Yeah.
Bike 4, Chapter 2 Coco, size medium, CRW, Jesus Christ. 65.
Is this CRW week? Was this on purpose?
No.
Oh.
But where's our affiliate code for these things? Christ.
Joe's printing money at this stage. How many freaking CRWs has he sold? Every man his dog's got them.
All right. Okay. Links down below, I suppose. Pirelli P0 RS 28, 30 mils. Finally, a set of Galfa rotors on there. Galfa Wave rotors. Ooh, a little upgrade. 160/140 rotors, Durace 12-speed, Allele X 310, 165 cranks. You got a gold chain, you got a Kogel rear mech silver pulley wheels, you got the Aeronova handlebars, you got that Chapter 2 seat post thing, and a Burke saddle. Does
nice.
it say what handlebars are on there? Yeah, sorry, the Aeronovas, of course.
Yeah, the excess. Yep.
There it is.
7.1 kilos, no pedals, cage mounts. Okay.
Yeah, that was my size. That borderline is my bike. That bike's a dog. Jesse, straight off the bat. Unfortunately, fast set of wheels. You have no issues there, but it's not fast. It's just not fast.
It's weird because it looks fast.
Yeah, it's not fast.
I'm looking tubes. I'm processing here. I'm looking sub 210.
No,
no
chance.
Right,
no chance. No, it just, there is no speed being held here. This is a defy. This is a defy.
Okay,
that's what I would suggest instead of this. Unfortunately, it just isn't fast. It rides fine. There's no particular ride feel issues to it. But you need to do a little bit better than just a relatively comfortable ride feel when it comes to the Nero show and trying to get that sticker. Otherwise, you are getting a dog of a bike. I am happy to see that they didn't put the Mana bars on there. They are not great. So those Aeronovas are suitably fast. So he's done pretty well to try and optimize it. I've seen there's a local rider here in Sydney who's riding one of these pretty strong, and he's like fully maxed out the performance of that bike. But unfortunately, there's a max.
So it's just the frames, just the drag.
It's just dragging away.
Right. Okay.
Just dragging away. Sadly.
Okay.
Not fast. Hence, it is a dog. All right, national champs.
Mhm.
What do we see? Anything stand out, Jesse?
Danny Van Poppel won the Dutch national championships.
Mm.
That guy's so underrated. He's such a weapon.
Yeah.
And such an exciting rider to watch. He does those lead outs and he starts so far out and you go, oh, you're going to blow 300 to go. Your sprint is done. And he just somehow goes 10 seconds longer than he should otherwise be able to. And just incredible lead out, man. And then he goes and dusts off Olav Koy from Visma Lab. And now he'll be racing in the Dutch national champions. It's like such a well-deserved result too. Incredible.
Mauro Schmidt wins the Swiss one. He'd won it last year, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the Jayco rider. Yeah. Good kit too, that one.
Good kit. That was more what I was thinking. I was kind of looking through the winners, and I'm like, who does a really good national champs kit team-wise? So Tim Wellens wins Belgium. UAE
Good style too. Did you see where he got away?
Yeah.
It was a bit of a coil. Everyone sort of doesn't really know what's going on, and he didn't like do 1,000 watts out of the saddle. Just sort of stayed seated and just prayed for a bit of a hesitation. He's just rode off.
Did we see a little comeback of Suki Remco as well? There's rumours that there was a bit of a Suki Remco.
Mm-hmm.
Great to see him back out and about. So a Movistar winner in Spain. That's not going to be whatever standard.
Italy. Filippo Concha, right? Was on Q36.5 in 20. Sorry, I'll go back even further. Lotto Soudal 2021, 2022. Q36.5 2023, 2024. Doesn't get re-signed. Joins some bubble team in Italy. And then as revenge comes and wins the national champs. And
Nice.
that team is SWAT Club. They're all racing in white skin suits.
Oh,
they had
sick.
2 of them in the final move. And just, like really cool. I actually felt a bit sad for Alessandro Covi. Probably thought he was going to win that one. Pretty quick finish on him. But he got, dusted up by a racked it Pro Conti rider. Those are always cool stories.
Yep. Rafael Majka back at it in Poland. Again, UAE not gonna smash out a great kit, unfortunately. France, Dorian Goudon. Fair enough. They'll do a decent one. Who else? Any one? Oh, Great Britain, Sam Watson. So Ineos always do a nice Great Britain champs one. Special shout out, Jesse Coyle.
Did you catch Iceland?
I just
Torstein
I was
Barendson?
watched it live.
Yeah.
Great win by
National champ by Torstein.
Torstein.
Yep. I coach him.
Anything particular interesting about him?
I coach him.
There you
I
go.
coach one of the. So this isn't no disrespect to Masters, but there's some Masters national champs and they're walking around with bands on and you're going, what did you actually win here? No. Icelandic elite road race championships should be on this list. I don't know why he didn't put him on there. Coach him. First Nero, elite national championship that Nero coaching has won.
So he's qualified for Amy's.
Yeah. a bit beyond that. But he got fourth last year.
Yeah.
And went away for a year and came back and he's won it.
Sick.
And he's he's not some 25-year-old older guy. Been training a while.
Is he on a team?
No, not on the team. No. He does a lot of gravel. And has some sponsors, runs cube bikes. But yeah, I just wanted to slip that one in there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Rory Townsend in Ireland, and Quinn Simmons won the US one, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago?
He always wins it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He did. Yeah, they have theirs a bit earlier. I think it was about a month ago. Derek G, Canada. I mean, who's going to hold the shoe there? I mean, that's just a ton. Yeah, him and Quinn Simmons is just done. Who's
we got
Sepp
Jorgensen
Kuss
might turn up.
No,
that's the US one's pretty competitive.
No, but that's well, I thought that a lot of the years the big guys are missing from the
That's
US
true.
one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the and
like
then
if you're on a
people
tour
like,
team.
Yeah. And then Quinn gets a bit of hate because people are like, oh, well, so-and-so's not there. But I'm like, he carves out the time in a season to go.
Yeah.
So he can wear the stars and stripes. So fair play.
All right, before we go, I just wanted to do a quick demographics chat, Jesse.
Okay. Are we talking ethnic diversity or?
A little bit. So it's just some of the trends that I find quite interesting about this show. So just real quick, we have a pretty broad audience, but just generally, this is the YouTube audience that we see. So about 30% of our viewers are in the US, 18% in the UK, 15%-ish in Australia, and 12% in Germany. And that's over sort of a 12, 24 month period. It's that kind of split. But what I find actually quite interesting is there's a clear shift and tendency and trend depending on what the title and the thumbnail of our videos will be. So if I look at this year, right, what I find kind of funny. So let's say it's a performance style thumbnail or title. Specifically, maybe something about bike fit, like your friggin' horrible bike position, that kind of stuff. Anything performance focused, maybe it's a versus, like carbon spokes versus steel spokes, that kind of chat. US crowd, big bump. So it'll go up to like 35%. That's a sizable chunk of the audience, and everyone else kind of drops off a little bit. That's pretty consistent. You'll see that.
They're looking for the nugget. The US audience.
I mean, we can potentially dive into the whys, but that's not always the case. So if a title or a thumbnail might be more of a cycling YouTubey topic, or specifically if there's a price in there. So it's like the Seeker ones or the Bianchi one where we'll put the price of the bike, and it's a big price normally, right, in the title. Or if it's one of the hot topics, but it's like I would regard as a topic that's kind of done, but tubeless, disc brakes, that kind of stuff. Big UK bump. So US less interested, UK come up. So you'll see the UK jump up to like around 25%, where they normally sit in around kind of 15, 18%. You'll see a bump of the UK audience in around there. So yeah, I feel like, I'm not sure what the takeaway is from that, but anytime it's, maybe there's a bit of info, like a performance nugget going to be given away here, US crowd. Where if it's more of I've got an opinion on that, I'm going to offer my 2 cents. UK, jump in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Australia, pretty much just irrelevant, kind of just ticks along, same number every week. Though worryingly, maybe this is good, really being run down by Germany. There's a world where Germany pop in front of Australia probably by the end of the year. They, in the last 6 to 7 months, have gone up from about 8% up to 12% and are catching very quickly.
Interesting.
So there you go.
Okay.
Germans getting about it.
Asia? Not really.
No, not really.
No, doesn't factor?
Doesn't factor. The biggest is Singapore, but it's not a big number.
Okay.
No. So that was my little demographic breakdown, Jesse.
Yeah. So is that because the UK people are coming from like Cade and GCN? They kind of, they like that culture-y type topic?
I would suggest.
So where's the US bubble that are coming in for the performance stuff? Is that like, are they sitting on Dylan Johnson's feed, and then maybe we bait them in with a what saved on a wheel or something?
I think you've probably nailed it.
Okay.
To be honest with you, yeah, I reckon that's exactly the flow through. Yeah.
Okay.
So most of our viewers will come from especially in the UK demographic. Most of those viewers will be, it'll be a suggested video from a GCN or a Cade Media video. So there you go, little demographic breakdown for you, Jesse.
Thanks for that.
That potentially might do us for this week.
I think that is it.
All right, we will see everybody next week.
Chat to you next week.